to the LCS Challengers League tonight, presented by Subway. My name is Cam Common. Next to me, joining me tonight is the beautiful Basil, as my co-guest caster, I guess. We've got two guests on the desk tonight, as well as your regular color caster, Covey. How are we all doing tonight, everyone?
I'm great. I'm excited to be joined by both of you. The last time that we all got to share a broadcast together was Game Changers. I had a lot of fun joining that, and really glad that we can have both of you join us for Challengers. And Basil, it's a great day to have you. We got Flyquest in the first match.
Yeah, I'm really excited to watch FLYC Challengers. Really been enjoying watching their games from the side, so very excited to be here.
Absolutely. Now, very quickly here, word on the street tells me that we have some exciting news to announce coming to you here. What is happening here?
We might have to find out.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, next up in some news, it was announced that NACA Finals will be live here in the Riot Games Arena, which is obviously a pretty big deal because this could be the first time some of these players are actually taken to the stage.
I am so pumped for this. To get to see players experience their first ever game on stage is incredible. You know, kind of learning what it's like.
What's NACL?
So, speaking of Magic, Cubby, I hear you worked some to get NACL Finals live somehow.
Yeah, team effort. But you know what? We're going back to the studio on April 1st for our live finals. You can get tickets now, and there's even going to be an award show to go along with it.
So you know what's interesting, Emily? Not only are they bringing back the most valuable prospect, but they're introducing a new slew of awards for the players and teams also to vote on.
Yeah, so looking at the list, there's also going to be a most improved player and a rookie of the split award, and they're voting for all pros. It's kind of like we do in the LCS, so it'll feel a little more familiar, I guess.
Yeah, NACL is going to be highlighting more players for their performance over the last split, and I think that's going to be awesome.
I already know who my MVP is, but now I gotta think about all those other awards too.
And also, finals are live, so we could all go technically and see the players.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool that they opened up the voting for the awards to the teams and the players as well.
Yeah, even the NACL co-streamers are going to get a chance to fill out their ballots this year. It's awesome to see so many different community members involved.
Yo, Eric, they just announced that NACL finals are live and we can get tickets.
Oh, sick. Playoffs are on right now. Put it on.
Let's go.
Wow, I just got hit with a whole lot of announcements. We've got live finals. You can buy the tickets right now, by the way, with exclamation point tickets. I heard they're selling them only for $5 as well. Definitely can get a lot with $5. And NACL finals tickets sounds like a good deal to me. And also, Cubby, we have some additional awards that we're giving out this season as well.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. It's going to look a lot more like your LCS ballot. So the most valuable prospect is the one award we've given out. That's going to stay the same. For those that don't know, it's pretty much projecting the best player 2 years from now in LCS. We kind of weight LCS wins as 1 point for year 1, 2 for year 2. So emphasis on how players scale. And then, from there, we've never had an All-Pro before. We've never had Most Improved, never had a Rookie of the Split. So really excited to see how we can honor and feature some more players that are very deserving from the Challengers League.
Absolutely super excited to see who ends up being the receiver of those awards. Basil, any special award that you think you're the most excited to see?
I do want to see which award is given to the player that's most improved. I think there has been a lot of rocky starts for certain teams, certain players, but very excited to see how these players have improved, especially because we're so close to the end.
Absolutely. Speaking of close to the end, we do have our playoff bracket here today. Once again, we are going to be on the upper half of the playoff bracket. So you see the matches from Thursday were the Flyquest AoE and Wildcard versus Fear. Friday, you had MU and DSG taking on Supernova and Team Liquid Challengers. Today, we've got the top side upper bracket. Tomorrow, you will have the lower bracket.
I mean, so far, we've been getting our money's worth with Challengers League playoffs. It's all 3 games. We've had upsets the entire way besides FLYC, who held on against AoE. Basil, I know that you were like, man, I watched that game 3. That was absolutely ballistic. That's the same feeling that I had as well. And excited to see which teams use their one of the 2 lives they have today or can preserve it moving forward, as a win today means you're only 1 best of 5 away from playing live on stage in the Riot Games Arena.
Yeah,
Absolutely right.
I
Oh,
really,
Basil?
not to be biased, but the FLYC game scared me a little bit. But I would love to be able to see them at the arena. I mean, only $5. I might as well go too. So,
Right? Speaking of, you do have 2 more series left today to get you to those finals bracket. I gave a little bit of a spoiler over there, but of course it is Flyquest Challengers taking on Cincinnati Fear for our first best of 3 today, and the second best of 3 will of course be DSG taking on Team Liquid Challengers. First up on the roster graphics, you got Flyquest Challengers.
You know, I gotta say, Basil, we did an event called the Best of the West with Flyquest, and the cheapest donation threshold they had was player photos. Now, the Flyquest jersey, it's in high demand, but unfortunately, we get the players' faces, not quite the players' jerseys, but this is also a roster that has quite a bit of experience. You can kind of see Quad coming from LCK at one point. Recently, LCK Challengers has been dominant this split. Sajad, the one rookie, not in the jersey, but I also know that you've talked a lot about Surdy coming in, Basil, and how you've been really excited to see his play this split.
yeah, so since seeing him on EG and now on FlyQuest, I think he is a player that's very much improved, but it's also a very stable player in terms of just a lot of good results, in my opinion. But yeah.
Absolutely, and next up on our roster graphics, we do have Cincinnati Fear taking on the Flyquest Challengers, of course.
Yeah, I mean, this is one where it's kind of funny. Like, Flyquest versus Fear, they had a banger best of 5 way back last spring to decide who made top 4. And the only 2 members that are the same are actually the coaches coming in. But Philip is trying to take revenge against his old org, as he was actually in that series on Flyquest Challengers. And also Fear, you know, for me, it's funny. All the rookies that we had this year in Challengers League, it was either the roster of Lit, or it was Sajed, Toasty, and Daption. So actually the 3 other rookies that, you know, are in playoffs, they're all playing today. And I think very highly of the 3 rookies. I think that Sajed, Toasty, and Daption have all had really fantastic splits. And excited to see, especially the 2 on the side of Fear, can really step up to challenge our top seed, who struggled a little bit against AoE, but still very much expected to move on today.
I think we might be ready for draft. Maybe?
Ooh, I mean, I'm excited to hop
Maybe.
into the games. I know that we're going to have Basil joining us for the first one.
Let's go.
And Basil, I got to say, I know obviously close with FlyQuest, but in terms of Fear, are there any members that you're excited about or looking forward to watching today?
Yeah, so Philip, obviously being part of FlyQuest before, again, FlyQuest related, but I've been enjoying also like watching him ever since he was on FlyQuest, and I haven't been able to see a lot of his games on Fear, but yeah.
Yeah, excited for that. Also, if you are just joining us from the LCS, welcome to the LCS Challengers League. We are in playoffs, upper bracket. We have Flyquest Challengers, our top seed. They actually selected red side for game 1, going up against Cincinnati Fear. Winner of this has one best of 5. They're one best of 5 win away from making the Riot Games Arena, as we have our finals there April 1st. You can check that out with ! tickets if you want to make it to the arena for $5, and that's not an April Fool's joke. We're going to be in there. But at the moment, starting to get into this first game of draft. Basil, a lot of marks been taken off the board.
I know. ADC
no
is weak.
Smolder.
ADC is weak.
ADC is weak, but we have a lot of bans coming in, of course. Pretty standard. And, of course, Orianna as well. A big first pick, especially with Azir being disabled on this patch.
I think the Smolder ban is very interesting. I'm not too confident in a lot of the Smolders I do end up watching. I think there's a lot of good games for Smolder, but he's kind of one of those champions where you can just like sit there and hold, basically. So honestly, in the hands of maybe any ADC, he looks really good if you can actually get to the point where you can survive.
Yeah, and curiously enough, like we've seen a lot of first pick Varus, as it's a very flexible champion. We're going to see Sajed and Flyquest locked it in here, but Fear passing up on that first pick Varus to take this Talia that, you know, for me, it's funny because I know that Cal is a coach, actually resides in EU. LEC has had a very high priority on Talia, who I feel like is a very strong champion on this patch, but we haven't seen a lot of teams drop Varus to actually take Talia. We're doing that here, and now we'll have to face the counterpick of the Arya matchup that we saw quite a bit today between Quid and Palafox in LCS playoffs.
Oh, Senna pick. Very interesting. Very high range bot lane, especially with the Nautilus. A little scary for the Varus, depending on the support pick on Flyquest side.
And will say that with Senna being on the board, I am a bit surprised that Flyquest didn't take that either. Now, it is important to mention that, of course, this is Fearless Draft. So once these champions are locked in Challengers League, they cannot be locked in by the same team again. So Flyquest can't pick Varus next game. Fear could. But at the moment, Cam, gonna have to see how things wrap up as Xin Zhao being taken. So support showing for Fear. I expect them to take away some supports that could answer the Nautilus. Whereas FLYC is showing that Xin Zhao, I expect to see a couple of junglers taken off the board that might counter that.
Absolutely. I don't see Poppy banned away yet, so I definitely expect Poppy to be banned, most likely by Flyquest here. I think would be a super strong, I guess, jungler for Fear, right? Just to counter the RA Spirit Rush, the Xin Zhao, many dashes on that kind of champion, right? Smolder, just throughout all of today, I expect to be like a first pick or just a ban away. I don't actually think we'll get to see any Smolder if these teams have anything to say about it. Of course, like you did mention, it is Fearless, so if we do see a Smolder from one team, then we don't get to see it again, which can be good, can be kind of bad. If you watched LCS earlier, I'm pretty sure game 1 it was NRG that got the Smolder, right? And that Smolder got to like 500 stacks, got every single new Smolder record. It was absolutely insane. So maybe we'll see that same level here today, but I'm honestly assuming it's just gonna be banned every game.
Yeah, I do like seeing the Gragas pick, as Philip and Tenacity have both been showing that kind of an emerging matchup that we've had on the top side is Gragas and Renekton. It's one where Renekton, compared to like what the matchup was prior when it was tank Gragas, Renekton wins a little bit harder earlier, but once Gragas gets the completed Roa and Seraphs, you are scaling menace in the top side. So for me, Flyquest kind of taking that away, maybe recognizing that if you want to have ways to stall up this game and get to a later stage, because I would say that the champions they're showing at the moment, a decent amount of scaling over on Fear, and they have a very solid core playing around the Talia, and that's the Renekton being locked in. So already one of the champions that Philip is used to answering Renekton with, now taken away.
Interesting to see the Flyquest last pick, because I'm not too sure what we're going to pick support here, because the Braum, which we briefly talked about before, is relatively strong, especially with theirs who could just go on hit and then proc that passive insanely well.
Yeah, I love it too with Xin Zhao. Of course, he benefits a lot from attack speed. I think it's a really good call, Basil. But at the moment, it will be the Aatrox locked in. Matchup we've seen Renekton win quite heavily, and one where I know Basil, watching a lot of Surdy's gameplay, he's very good at setting up and also committing 2 dives with his junglers. So something we'll have to look out for early on.
Very confident player for sure.
Yes, always plays with confidence. Whereas Fear, it's been fun talking with Cal, kind of like how this team's come together, as it's a very different group. As he said, his team's a little bit loud. He's like, yeah, I wish they may have talked less, but definitely something they're going to have to combat early on. With Braum taken off the board, Cam, looks like Alistar could be the hover here for Chime.
Come on. Name's Chime. Can we pick Bard? Look at the graph right here.
I don't think I want to see a Bard.
I always have to say that he's actually a Thresh main. And Thresh?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's too playable against the Talia, but expecting this to be Bard coming in, or I should say Alistar coming in, not the Bard. And
no, I'm expecting Bard. It still could be Bard. Maybe they remake Draft. It's fine. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know about that one. But Basil, I know that we're gonna be graced by your art. We got some fun plans for you today. You will not be joining us for the next game, so just want to give you a chance. Any thoughts that you have wrapping this one up? Do you like where Flyquest is sitting right now?
Prediction?
Yeah. I just like that both comps are very much get off my ADC. Like, there are so many ways to push people off with Lee Sin kick, with Xin ult. It's going to be a very exciting game. I hope to see the Varus. I think looks very strong, especially in games that we've seen in LCS. So I'm very excited to see how that translates into these matches. And Senna also a very powerful pick. Excited to see how they both match into each other.
All right, well, thank you, Basil. We will see you after the Summoner's Rift game, whatever we're about to watch. We will see you right back after this. I'm sure you're ready
I have a
for
feeling.
Flyquest.
I have a feeling, Cam, that as the day goes on, I think that both of our drawing skills might get tested. Just a gut feeling.
I'm ready.
It could be a tough day.
I got my paint
Just a
ready.
little bit. You're ready? Okay. I don't know if I'm ready. I might be embarrassed here later on.
There was like one of those, like Riot Lands they have right before the like challengers. Oh my gosh, what are they called? Finals, right? The finals where they have like the fan arena, right? I had one of those, like I had to draw Vigar blindfolded, and then my coach had to guess what I drew, and I think I drew a circle and the letter E, and he got it. So that's my drawing skills.
It was just the blindfolded cage, you know? It's you knew exactly what to do. Well, maybe channeling some of your inner Quad from the LCS today, but we are on the Rift now for game
I did pick Vigar.
1 of our day, as, again, favorites Flyquest Challengers had a sweater of a best-of-3 against the 8-seed AoE, as that last game was 40 minutes, multiple backdoor attempts. We've had a crazy start to our Challengers League playoffs, and I'm selfishly hoping it continues today. But curious if Fear, who, fun enough, we're the very first team to take a game off of Flyquest Challengers throughout the season, can now take a series off them later on in the season, as they will be put to the test.
Put to the test in their first upper bracket matchup here against Flyquest. Super excited to see if we get any sort of close to what we had for Flyquest AoE. Game 3 in that series you just mentioned was an absolute banger. I mean, I think you DM'd me right after the Nexus exploded. I think you literally wrote absolute banger to me. Like,
oh yeah.
That was a good game. I don't know if we're going to get that same level again, but the fact that we got almost 4 on-paper upsets in the past 48 hours in NACL is absolutely insane. Are we going to get more upsets today? I have no idea, but I'm excited to see what happens.
It's been crazy. We'll talk a little bit more about the upsets in the second series, as there's a little bit more context that's interesting there, given that it is 2 of the bigger orgs that did make it, despite not having great regular seasons. But at the moment, return to this game, we're going to have a mirrored clear between our 2 junglers, as we've each started the respective blue buffs, working their way towards the respective red buffs. Will be a scouting ward from Quad dropped mid, who, this matchup against Toasty, Quad has been a beast this split. The fun stat about Quad is that he's currently averaging 21 CS up at the 15-minute mark, and if you put that in all regions across the globe, out of all mid laners, that is the highest CS differential. As, I mean, Quad has really ended games in the mid lane before they've started, as the differential that he can create on his own have made games really tough for teams going into Flyquest Challengers. And Toasty, rookie who has really, I think, scaled into the season, again, took a game off Quad early on in the season. I'll have his hands full today, and excited to see if he can really rise up to the occasion in this case.
Fear, as a whole, have generally scaled throughout the entire season so far, right? And the fact that they are managed to make it all the way up here to the upper brackets with an even slight upset on Thursday as well. Absolutely huge for the Cincinnati Fear org to make it all the way here. And going back to the Quad stat as well, I think it's absolutely insane that you can average a kill without even having a kill at 15 minutes up against the laner, right? So if you even get, like, you know, any help from Shaden, any help from your support as well, to get, in fact, a kill as well as an extra CS lead is absolutely huge for Flyquest.
Philip's really trying to hold that wave so that he doesn't get dove, as Shaden was looking for it. We kind of talked about with Basil how Surdy, aggressive player that can call his jungler up there. Want to give some props to Philip for holding that wave, recognizing that he could get dove there. So Shaden will just take the crab, and we'll see if he returns top in the next wave, then maybe look for that dive again.
You see Chad on a recall right now as well, so he's going to be pathing up to the top side, which means Shaden most likely does lose that window to actually go for a gank. Philip as well, really respecting the fact that he is alone for the next 10 seconds, so he's just going to recall TP back to match the walking back to jungle timer that Chad here had as well. So even if Shaden was waiting in that bush still for that entire length of time, wouldn't have been able to punish anything on the Cincinnati Fear top side. Bot side, meanwhile, both the summoner spells burned level 3 by Lens. Really nice engage by Chime.
Level 3, very strong for Varus as they try and make use. One, lands a nice charm in the mid lanes. You can see Flyquest trading aggressively in some of these lanes, and importantly, Shaden actually skipped his respawn camps on his blue buff side, so Gromp and Wolves to try and help support this bot lane, get that wave in. Looks like they got it all the way in, but Dapshin was able to TP back. And now Chime actually using that push to maybe walk mid and threaten the Toasty, who has gone very low thanks to some solid laning from Quad.
Really, really strong laning from Quad. Already hitting level 6, by the way, at 5 minutes. Toasty sitting at about 75% of his XP. You can see on the bottom left, so he is slightly behind that of Quad, of course. Forced to use that TP as well just to catch a couple of extra caster minions. Chad hovering this lane just to make sure Toasty can't die to any sneaky 1v1 kill from Quad, just because he has that level 6 up on his level 5 for the next 30 seconds or so.
Nice trade here from Surdy, who actually did ding 6. Now, the tricky part is that oftentimes we see Senna rotating to help out with the grubs. Senna really likes grubs. They give her a lot of souls. As Chad going to be able to sneak that one in. You can see 2 of them spawning on the first drop. Toasty gets charmed. So Flyquest Challengers, their top side's winning, though. And the fact that I think Fear taking 2 of those grubs off the Senna first rotation is really nice, because for Nectin, we've seen Surdy be ahead of this match.
Oh,
meanwhile,
no.
mid, that's solo kill.
Oh, good flash. Oh, so close. Toasty, if he was like 1 more meter away from his tower, I think he might have been able to make that one out alive. But Quad, I mean, that's just a solo kill in the mid lane, even with Toasty having the level 6 Quad. Had super excellent positioning. You see he was charmed Toasty out of the position, possible angle for him to use that Weaver's Wall to join the potential Kruv fight. And because of that, Toasty was out of position for just a little bit too long. Quad easily able to pick up that solo kill, and now just even more of a CS lead. It's almost 20 CS up for Quad now, and it's only 6 and a half minutes.
And this has really been the story of the split for Flyquest. Is I think Surdy and Quad specifically have been so dominant in their lanes. Shade and flash forward.
Flash onto Lens. He still has no summoner spells. Just is going to fall down to Shade and Chime. Has had some excellent Alistar combos in this early game, and the first one, unfortunately, was not able to secure the full kill, but it was able to get both the sums out from Lens, and that is exactly how they were able to get a kill second time.
No, that's a great call, and given that, I love how proactively Shaden was able to flash forward, just guarantee that kills goes to Flyquest, and off the mid lead, and Senna being removed from the map. That's a free dragon going to Flyquest Challengers.
First Cloud Dragon in the favor
of
Flyquest Challengers. Chad is
thinking about
showing his face. He's smelling the dragon. He's tasting it. He's thinking about it. He doesn't have any vision. Oh, he does, never mind. Over the pit, but there is Change Decryption landing everything onto Chad's face. This is only a level 5 Lee Sin, by the way, and yeah, not only did Flyquest claim the dragon, they also claim the life of the enemy mid laner. Not even jungler.
Yeah, Toasty goes down again, and for me, like, this, again, really has been the story of Flyquest Challengers. Like, their solo lanes are so dominant, they can create leads on their own, and then what happens after that, it's just leads across the map already. As this started with Senna being removed from the map, so it's already a numbers advantage for Flyquest Challengers, and Sajed just, he walks up, hits R, and that's a dead Toasty again, so mid, very far behind. I think it's really important, too, because, like, Talia, the real strength for me with Talia is not only the pressure you can put down on the map, but also how strong Unraveled Earth is in these team fights, just holding the line and creating space for your marksman. That's not doing the same amount of damage, though. You can just keep on walking forward as Flyquest Challengers undeterred, and that's exactly what this comp needs to do with the Xin Zhao and the Renekton. So it's one of the half-K gold lead. I think Flyquest Challengers, they do need to get ahead early in order to win this game and have their comp work. And they're really hitting everything they need to, thanks to Quad creating a lead on his own, and then Shade and the Chime really stepping up around that to push the lead further towards the spot side of the map.
Absolutely. I think it's so crucial that Flyquest Challengers have also spread their 3 kills onto 1 mid, 1 AD carry, 1 jungler. Like, that is probably the best possible scenario for the first about 10 minutes of this game for FLYC. And the fact that 2 of those kills as well are on the mid laner for Toasty, like you mentioned, they need to shut down this Talia in the early game. Talia is a major roam threat for the first 15 minutes, and the fact that Toasty has been basically chained to his tower in the mid lane right now, he has not been allowed to get his side lanes ahead whatsoever. Lens on the Senna is going to scale no matter what, so they can't chain him as much as they may be able to the Talia, but Flyquest have been playing this game so far superbly well.
I think the game plan now for Flyquest, I mean, they have grubs respawning, and we saw in that last series, Quad, he opened up the lead on his own in the mid lane, and Surdy doing much of the same on the top side. That's the 3rd plate that Renekton's been able to pick up just in the 1v1, as junglers really haven't gotten involved in this matchup besides grubs, which are respawning shortly. So curious if we actually see Flyquest Challengers try and contest that, as Chad, might be, Lee Sin might be blind, but Chad, he had the minimap on. He was able to find that zombie ward and take it down.
I think Chad's brain was not on the same place as where his screen was right there. He was like, all right, where am I clearing? I'm clearing the bot side. I'm looking at...
It was F keys, you know?
Yeah. I'm looking at the Krug respawn time or whatever right now, right? It was not on that little blue word that did spot him up. It's kind of a funny micro interaction there. Krubs? Not Krubs. Oh my goodness. Grubs, Twitch chat, number 2, whatever you want to call them, are up and for the taking. If Flyquest Challengers want to go, you do see Chime roaming up to the top side here as well. Senna moving her way up here. Lens is still hanging around the chicken pit though, so most likely these will be once again going in the favor of Flyquest C.
I'm more so scared for Philip, as with what the map looks like at the moment, it'd be very easy for Chime to try and get involved in one-shot Philip. Aatrox, though, hitting level 9, has a steel cap, so it might be enough to deter Flyquest Challengers, where they're just going to take the objective, and frankly, they don't really need anything else, because that's a charm landing from a quad. That's half Toasty's health just gone.
Right? I mean, there's one thing to just keep Toasty low on mana so that he can't even hit the Weaver's Wall, right? It's another thing to just be like, yeah, no, you're just going to be perma 25% HP in this lane. You're going to be always under kill threat, whether Shaden is in this lane or not, right? That is just superb. Once again, laning coming out from quad. Also want to talk a little bit about top lane here. We have mentioned that Surdy has, what, 3? Yep, almost 4 solo plates in his pockets, largely due to the fact that he has had amazing wave control. You see these slow pushes into crashes on the perfect timing. Waiting for his jungler to be on the top side as well does give him so much prio over Philip, who, very similar to Toasty, has been pretty much chained to his tower this whole game. Chime looking for another gauge in the mid lane here. Charm landed onto Chad, but nothing really earned there on the bot lane there. Sejed rooted underneath his turret. Shaden is here to follow up. I'm not sure if they're actually able to turn this back for a 2v2, but Flyquest T will absolutely try. Really nice flash out from the Senna ult by Shaden. Nice hook lands as well back onto Chime. Flashing in. Sejed is so low, but Lens is going to be the ones that ends up falling. But pushing it right back onto Daption. You got no mana, no HP, and it's a double kill pick up for Shaden.
Rotation from Chime, able to make the play in the end, as honestly, like, Lens with that ultimate, I think this is one where, given the start from Daption, it's the flash hook into the ult. Lens does chain the root, but doesn't chain his ult on top of that. And later on, Sejed's able to flash it. I think if Lens cast his ultimate early on in this fight, he might have been able to take down the Varus, but there, it's late, it's not chained with any CCs, so Varus escapes. Then Chime's in the fight, so the numbers are back in FLYC, not to mention the gold advantage. And the combo connects on the Lens, can't take down Sejed, and it's an all too easy play for Flyquest Challengers to push this lead further ahead.
Double kill picked up for Shaden. Huge for Flyquest in this early game. Again, they are trying to get either Zhao or Varus ahead, and Quad is going to be the next up on the table. Let's just continue punishing these bot lane. Toasty very far behind Quad. Philip very behind Surdy. Let's now trade this right back to the bot lane. Dragon number 2 started up, or is alive now for Flyquest, and looks like Shaden will be able to start that one up, even if it is on vision. It's so hard for Chad to actually try to steal this.
And curiously enough, it looks like Fear trying to change that approach. You know, Talia does have the ability to move like and answer the Ahri with the Weaver's Wall, but that time around, Toasty was actually hovering the top side, so they really don't want to interfere with this. Chad's going to go in for the flip.
Oh, Chad's going in. He's going to try to steal it. Not going to be quite enough HP to survive long enough for that one. Dragon plus yet another kill are going to go back into the favor of Flyquest, and I think that kill actually went to Chime. Oh, Chime being a little sneaky here. A little sneaky Alistar. Oh, it's a very sneaky Alistar. Oh no. Daption, you have no mana, my friend. I don't think it's an actual kill, but it's a very sneaky cow.
At least delaying some of the recall timers. And big of Shaden to get that smite out of Chad. I know Chad pinged me. We have a fun story in Challengers League where Shaden, Chad, and Kennedy, 3 of the junglers we have in the league, all used to be roommates, with Poom also in the house. So he's gotten all the roommates but Shaden, and Chad really wants to hear his we have a dive coming in.
In the house and bot lane right here. Let's not let Spot play the game whatsoever. The Ignite ticking down. The team is ticking down, honestly. Look at how long this Varus can live, by the way. Excellent tower aggro juggling by Flyquest. Chad is traded. Wait, what is happening? No, Chad traded that right back in the favor. It's a triple kill for Toasty. What just happened?
The re-engage was huge for Fear, as we're going to take another look. They ended up overextending on the dive. Nautilus a little bit too tanky. And the answer from Toasty was big, as everything's thrown into the Aftershock Nautilus. So Daption, he tanked up a lot of damage throughout that Aftershock, and yes, he falls, but that's one Unraveled Earth that leads to a kill. And then the second one, Chad goes back in after Chime engages on Toasty, procs the Eclipse, gets a double triumph, so he's able to walk out. And the second Unraveled Earth, that actually claims Shaden as the triple kill goes over to Toasty. A huge play for Fear as they really cut into that gold lead from Flyquest Challengers.
Absolutely massive. You're right. No, I was not expecting that. I was like, wow, the tower aggro juggling is really good for Flyquest. They're going to be able to shut this bot lane down and just run away. But nope. Toasty and Chad had nothing to, or we're not going to let them get away if they had anything to say about that. Toasty, I still don't think is quite in the range to be able to 1v1 quad on his own, though. got a pretty nice shield by an extra couple of seconds. Blue buff as well will be very helpful. But still, the HP and the damage threat the quad will pretty much always have, I think, for the rest of the game, will pretty much always be over Toasty's head. Rift Herald started up by Flyquest Challengers. Even if they did end up losing that bot lane dive, they still got every single neutral objective on the map so far. So still pretty close to a perfect first 15 minutes. That is a tongue twister.
Yeah, I like the attempted answer there from Fear. They tried to dive quad while he didn't have ults. And this is while Shaden was doing the Rift Herald. I don't think Fear really wants to straight up contest. I think they need to trade elsewhere on the map. So it's definitely something that Cal has talked about, this squad. Is, you know, Fear, they were an org that did really well last split in our league. And we got to pause because Philip might be under siege. Flyquest.
Oh my gosh,
Oh boy.
Philip is not only chained to his outer turret, he's actually just not allowed to walk out from his inner turret at this point. Like we're seeing sending 3 members, including the support, all the way to top lane in between the turrets. Let's take the outer turret and just kill the top laner while we're at it. Why not?
I mean, I wanted to talk about how, you know, Gal's like kind of been building a foundation for these young guys, and I think trading across the map was correct there, but the shot caller for Flyquest Challengers, it has been Chime, and, you know, for LCS fans that haven't seen Chime this split, he's been fantastic in Challengers, especially on these engagers. He's responsible for a lot of the calls, and that was a good one as Philip just a little bit overextended in that lane. They get a freebie going over to their side, and Flyquest Challengers, feels like they've taken a little bit of a deep breath after that bot dive cam and kind of reeled things back into this controlled pace that they should have, as they are ahead and have the strong champs at the moment. So Flyquest Challengers still in control.
I know Chime did not pick Bard in this game, but he's roaming as much as you might think a Bard would. I will give him lots of credit for that. Maybe
You're not letting them get out of that. You need to see the Bard while you're here.
I will see a Bard. I will also see a Lulu.
Okay. I mean, Lulu,
I am the only person that got the LCS Riot Games Arena to actually cheer when a Lulu was picked, and I will hold that very close to my heart.
Yeah, that's. I mean that. Game Changers was fun. We had some fun moments there. That was one of them. But we'll see if that makes an emergence later on in the day. I know Poom enjoys it over at DSG. The buffs did help a lot as Jed escapes. The Dredge Mine does eat the depth charge, but he's at safety. So that's a flash that will now be down for the Dragon fight in a place that Fear might look, as Chad could be a target for a kick flash coming in.
I think that was a flash for flash traded actually from Daption onto Sejed. You see the solo laners hovering on the top side. Toasty does not have TP. Meanwhile, Spirit Rush charge on the bot lane. Quad might be a little bit of a trouble. He used all 3 charges. So much running away potential from this Aryan. He even still had flash, by the way. Shaden, does he drive it? Yes, he drives it. Does he live, though? He lives. All right, we're good. We're good. Hextech Dragon is up on the table now for Flyquest C. This is the sole point for them if they're able to manage
Watch
to take
time. They're getting pinched. They need TP from Quad, but Quad has no ult. As 2 TPs come in, we have a fight.
Now, Daption might have got a little bit too far in there, my friend. Hook lands, Charm lands, everything lands. Toast's gonna be forced to flash away. So Jedson real low on that HP. The Ignite is taken down on him. Philip, meanwhile, he's waiting in the bush. He's waiting in the wings. Does he have the damage? Yes, to shut down Sejed. But the Aatrox, does he have enough healing as well to continue through this fight? Dashing away. Shane will immediately be able to follow him up. Sturdy as well. Getting those chickens all the way down. And now let's just dive under the mid lane tower. Why not? Double kill picked up for the Renekton. Dash in, dash out, shut down picked up for Quad. Just like that, Flyquest Challengers, they have immediately been able to ace Fear, and they can take the dragon right after.
And Surdy was so damn big in that fight when he TP'd in. He got involved in the mix. Important because Quad didn't have ults available until the back half. So, you know, Surdy with his TP, I love this placement. He understands, you know, he has to just be in the middle of the fight. And Surdy really ripped through this one. As on the back half, like kind of when this pitch comes in, you know, you're a little bit scared because Philip actually has a decent angle and takes down the marksman. But Surdy, just take a look at him. He's tanking up everything. No one does any damage to this Renekton as they rip through Philip. And Surdy able to get Lens in the back half. It's an easy dive on the Toasty as Chimes able to follow that up. And we didn't even need to see that one. That was pretty easy for Surdy and the Croc. As more gold goes over to the pockets of FLYC and Soul Point.
Soul Point and a 6,000 gold lead now secured at 20 minutes for FLYC. That team fight really showed, I think, the true synergy and the true practice that this first place team truly has with each other. They always had, I'm assuming, really good comms there because they were always all on the same target. The lockdown was perfect. All the CC was always put onto the right person and correctly timed all together. And that's exactly what you want to see from a first place team.
I know that Flyquest Challengers like talking to Rocco about that matchup they had against AoE, which, I mean, if you missed it, it truly was a banger. Like, when your final game goes multiple back doors, we had Quad having to defend Udyr, who was hitting a Nexus that was sub 2k HP. Surdy ended up saving the game later as the Jax when he threw, like, multiple times. It was a ballistic game, but... No, I mean, he put it, hey, we got some of the nerves out, right? Like, we have nothing else to fear. We almost lost the 8 seed in the first round. And these guys are already kind of tested, and hopefully we can play a little bit freer and play our game moving forward. And this feels like a game from Flyquest Challengers that we saw a lot in the regular season, as you were probably about to point out here, Kev.
No, I was going to say, would you say that they have nothing left to fear but fear itself?
Sure. Yeah. You know what, Kev? I feel like you nailed it with that one.
Thank
they
you.
aren't really fearing fear at all in this, though. They look
That's
pretty
fair,
fearless.
you know?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean,
I'm sorry.
Whenever you get a chance to reference the format too in a sentence with different you gotta say.
Oh yeah,
too
we
much
are
fun
playing a
with
Fearless
fear.
format.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
I'm playing 4D chess up here, Cam. I'm trying to keep up.
Fear is gonna win this whole tournament. I'm gonna say it right now because we're in a Fearless draft.
So whoever Fearless drafts the best, and that's the one that truly. They're not in fear of the Fearless draft. They negate each other out.
Fear is
going
gonna draft the best Fear draft.
Yeah.
Obviously.
You know, fear is the mind killer, and fear might also be what is derailing our conversation in the caster decks. So we're going to return to what's going on as we got Surdy taking that bot outer turret for himself. A little bit more gold lead going over to Flyquest Challengers. And honestly, at this point, they don't have any need to hit or tease this Baron. They're just waiting for this soul to spawn for themselves. Hextech Soul would most certainly spell the doom of Cincy Fear in this game one.
Objective bounties, I don't know if you just mentioned this, but objective bounties have finally spawned up just because oh gosh, quick maths. 7,000. It's not even quick maths. The numbers are right in front of my face. 7,000 gold lead now for Flyquest Challengers. We got 2 minutes left on the Hextech Soul spawn. Flyquest Challengers trying to secure that mid push. They've already got the top push. You see how far Quad is. Once again, Toasty just simply does not have 1v1 kills, right? I don't think over Quad, even if they are of the same level, just because of how the champions work. Assassin versus Mage generally does favor the Assassin. Meanwhile, on the bot side, you see Surdy is pushing that wave forward. They've got the lane of prio pretty much across all 3 lanes at this point. Should be a pretty Flyquest favored Soul if Fear even tried to contest it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the big thing, what I like from Fear in the last setup was that they actually made an effort to blow summoner spells before. Like, Daption trading his flash for Sajid's flash, that's very much trading up, and that's something that you can punish in the next fight. We didn't see Fear be able to capitalize on that. I'm looking at Flyquest Challengers. I see a flash coming up for Surdy that will be up in time for the Dragon. I almost want to see Fear try and create a scenario where they are able to get a flash out and at least have a target for the next fight. Until then, they're trying to play 3 lanes right now, and Toasty actually might be under threat if Quad goes in.
Toasty using that Weir's Wall defensively. TP coming in onto the top side. This is right before a Soul fight. TP has already been channeled in by Philip. Now Flyquest have to run away. This is right next to a Baron. So TP now coming in from Surdy all the way from the bot side. Shane's taken down real low. Has the Crescent Guard to buy a couple of extra seconds. And it's going to be Philip, the first member to fall. The Aatrox did not have enough healing, did not have enough team damage to try and contest Flyquest. What was initially a Fear very sided team fight, they had the numbers advantage, just immediately turned right back into Flyquest's favor, and they've got Baron, and they're going to have the Soul in just 20 seconds.
Again, I love that TP from Surdy. What we know Surdy for is his dominant laning phase, but you know, Surdy himself said, hey, I've tried to work on being a better teammate and working with my team better and having better moments mid to late. That TP, again, getting himself right in the mix as the Renekton. He immediately takes down Philip. Makes it so that Flyquest Challengers has a free fight. They take down 2 members of Fear. That leads to the Baron. Is likely going to lead to the Hextech Soul here, Cam. And overall, it's a pretty boring game 1. If this is all Flyquest Challengers.
Yep, at this point, they can absolutely Flyquest Challengers. It's just smacking around with the wallets. Even if you have a slight numbers advantage, 4v3, 5v4, Flyquest Challengers have managed to come out on top every single time. Daption already being touched out a quarter of his HP. Look at this Senna. Where did Senna just go? I have no idea. Sent right back to the fountain. You see Toasty in 1v1 against Sejed. Sejed actually taking down real low. Ignite taking down onto him. Daption buying a lot of time on the bot side there for Fear, but Quad dashing in, dashing out. Quad is just shutting down Chad. Double kill picked up for Shade and Philip underneath the tower in a 1v3. He can pop the World Ender for a couple of extra healing points. Toasty still in a 1v1, but this time against 30. He's not going to be able to win that one just as easily. Philip and Toasty, the two solo laners, solo left for Fear to try and hold this soul, but it is basically all Flyquest challengers.
While that was going on, Sejed based. He's ported. He's hitting the top wave while his team gets the soul, because Toasty took the marksman for Flyquest Challengers down low. But that's just how big of a lead the top side of Flyquest Challengers has. But this actually could be tested because Sejed, he's out of position for this Dragon Law. So we actually have numbers here for Cincy Fear as they try and deny soul.
3k left. Soul has been secured, but do they have the fight with it? Chime might just be taken down. Got a lot of extra HP with that Unbreakable Will. Toasty finally getting the shutdown down onto Chime. Toasty chased into the enemy jungle. Where are you going, my friend? Quad forces that stopwatch just to survive the rocks on the ground. 2 more kills picked up for Flyquest on top of the soul. They are running away with this game 1.
Yeah, and Sejed just took the top inner turret. Like, it's all drawn up to be very smooth, right? Send the marksman with no TP away from the play. Just how Flyquest Challengers drew it up. And look, I like this from Fear. For me, Fear, they are a team. They will take flips. I think that was a big part of the story of the early season. I think they've straightened that out later on, but hey, this game's over. Might as well flip it. And they actually ended up creating a very winning scenario for themselves, given where Sejed was. That said, the goal differential is a little bit extreme at this point. Toasty doing all he can to try and pump through the very big front line of Flyquest Challengers, but he just gets chased down by Quad. And Fear, again, is going to have to go back to the drawing board. And I will say, like, the very powerful core of Senna, Not, Talia, we've seen this have a lot of success that will not be available to them in this game, too. Fear, they do have a deep strat book, but interested really where they end up going with their choice aside and what they end up prioritizing. Because this game 1 really felt out of reach for them pretty early.
It is important to note as well. Never mind. Time looking for a dive down to the bot lane. Toasty, I mean, Toasty is just sent back to the fountain. There is nothing left for him to do underneath this tower. Daption as well. What can you do in the middle of 5 members of Flyquest Challengers smacking around with their pockets at 14,000 gold lead for Flyquest Challengers in the game 1 of the upper bracket best of 3. Fear, they are going to have to go back to the drawing board. Like you said, they do lose the 5 champions that they are playing in this game. No more Lee Sin, no more Talia for Toasty. I think Orianna would be an excellent choice if they do want to go for a similar type of play style here. But Flyquest Challengers, they've got 2 more Nexuses left in their face. 2 more Nexus towers, even not even 2 more Nexuses. They don't need those towers. They don't need the enemy champions. All Flyquest Challengers can see is the Nexus in their sights. Lens can hold them for an extra second or 2, but that is all that they can buy for Fear. Taking us to the game 2, Flyquest 1-0.
And that's more likely for Flyquest Challengers in this playoff. Again, that series against AoE, that was really close. I remember like pinging the AoE guys like afterwards, like that was so close, and I was like, oh man, we're so depressed. Like we almost had that. Flyquest Challengers also a little bit depressed because they didn't put that series away the way they wanted to. That's a game that they put it away the way they wanted to. They can take a lot of positives away from that. And I think that we really saw the story of the season for Flyquest Challengers in that game. Both their solo laners found leads on their own without the involvement of Shaden. And when you have that kind of lead with Flyquest Challengers and you get Shaden and Shime to run the map together the way they've been doing all split, where they have been really good at just setting up and making plays, it's all too easy for Flyquest Challengers.
All too easy. Taking it home with a 14,000 gold lead in game 1. We're going to go to a quick break here before we head to game 2. Flyquest Challengers versus Cincinnati Fear. You don't want to miss it.
They said it couldn't be done. They said the world would never accept a cookie this long. Or a churro, and probably not a pretzel either. They also said, under no circumstances should those really long and delicious treats be wildly affordable. To which we said, but we already made them. And they are. Introducing the incredible new foot-long sidekicks. Get one at Subway today.
Rain. Ground. Flame. Gas. Long ago, the 4 nations lived together in harmony. And then everything changed.
Oh
bullet time finds Dapshin. Here comes Zamudo. A claymore to the face of Cincinnati Fear.
Here comes Keel, looking to rip and bear them apart as he jumps in. The shuffle comes in from Spyrax, has to flash back over the wall. TLC are on retreat. Over comes Scary Jerry with the double kill, and Maryville University are back in it.
No contest from Lit. They might get Tenacity, but they might all just get wiped. Tenacity picks up another kill, flashes away from Rockboom.
Looking for more. He's got the death from below yet again, but he can't get it. Here it comes. One more. Give him another one. As it's coming through, he misses it, but it's Supernova running away. Flap, 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 and the wings start beating. The Elder Dragon starts soaring. Our Team Liquid have done it.
Check it. He does have Shockwave. Breezy.
Oh, handshake comes down! Shock Wave! Toasty will take them down! Turns it onto Rosesword, and all by himself, all by his lonesome, he gets it done!
Quacker gets onto the carry. Massive Shock Wave from Dark Wings, and Aaron's gonna be the one picking up all the kills. A Quadra to Wildcard's bot laner, and what an explosive end to the game!
Only the Avatar, the master of the 4 elements, seemed unstoppable.
The Death Throat's gonna hit on a 2, and look at those fangs sinking deep. It's like a snake eating the entire team.
But I believe that NACL can save the world. The future of the LCS starts right after the LCS.